Well, good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening. It's Saturday, April 18th. It's 11:26. We're on what is known as the Arlington Road. It runs pretty much along the top of the mountain, along the North Mountain. And we're currently in between Bridgetown and Hampton. And we're headed up towards Margaretsville. We're gonna ride the brow of the mountain for a while until we cut down and through the Cottage Cove area and then up through to Margaretsville. I want to take a little drive and take a little look at I want to take a little walk and have a look at the waterfall located at Margaretsville. I took a walk there last summer and the tide was relatively far down. It was probably, if I do recall in the video, it was low tide, and I think it was pretty much peak low tide on a full tide, so it was all the way out. Today high tide is at 12:50, so 10 minutes to 1 o'clock this afternoon. There's a little bit of a white cap in the Bay of Fundy, so there should be a little bit of action in the water. It's currently 12 degrees. I imagine in the valley it's a lot nicer, where they're not getting the breeze off the Bay of Fundy. But yeah, like I say, we're currently heading to Margaretsville, and I invite you to come take a drive with me. Enjoy the beautiful summer, I wish it was summer, but enjoy the beautiful spring morning. It's not quite early afternoon, but it'll probably be a little bit chillier down closer towards the Bay of Fundy once we get closer to Margaretsville, but shouldn't be anything too drastic. I got a sweater and shorts on. I should be well equipped. It's a very well-traveled dirt road, I must say. It's packed down just like concrete over the winter. To the left of us down that road, that'd be Port Lorne Road. And that'd be Port Lorne down at the end. Small little fishing community. quite a substantial fog bank hanging out there in the Bay of Fundy, though. You can see I can see it probably doesn't come through much on the camera, as I can't really zoom out that far, but the dirt road was almost better than this. So I'll give a little update on Cooper for anybody that's been following along, that has been wondering or anything. He's really improved quite a bit, to be honest with you. The muscle relaxer for the determined amount of days that the vet required him to be on it, it really allowed for his body to just kind of relax, and allowed for whatever was causing that much pain to either kind of correct itself, or I'm not really sure what has happened. I know like a slip disc is not gonna just kind of go away like that, just that fast, but like possibly nerve pain or something. If he had a pinched nerve or something, like there might be a little bit of a drastic change there for him. But yeah, overall he's really seemed to turn a corner, and he's doing a lot better. I mean, I'm not going to jump right to conclusions and go right out and keep, let's go do a great big walk or something like that, or stick him in and have a drive in the Jeep type thing. But as far as his living and quality of life and whatnot, he's not showing like he's in pain like he was. He's a lot more mobile. He's really kind of back to being his old self. Just we need to use our brain and be more mindful of how we make do with his time, and try not to do anything that's going to cost him quality in a day, in any days following. So all in all, it's been pretty good, but I'm still kind of a little bit shy of getting too far from home, to say the least. It was very sudden. It was a night and day thing when it happened for him. So until I am a little bit more secure with that decision and know that he's kind of just overall a bit more healthy, I might venture a little bit further from home. But for the time being, I really can't bring myself to just kind of take off for a day or two and hop to the other side of the province. And I hope some of you can understand that, and will maybe stick with me through this little bit of a slow time in the channel or whatever. But that's kind of just a decision that I've made. Because I think we need to stick beside him and give him the love and everything, like he's stuck beside us when we were in our times of need and needed a little bit of extra love and attention, because he most definitely was there for us. But he's going to be able to still enjoy his days, his time out in the yard and stuff like that. That's all still been pretty fun for him. almost like a puppy when it comes to that again. He's very much back into just kind of loving his stuffed toys and the odd bully stick and his little saunters around the yard, but he's kind of developed a new passion or love and appreciation for outdoor evening deck time with Dad, I think. Which is making it a little bit easier it's been a little bit easier to get over not being able to take him for his evening walks and stuff, because he's a little bit more comfortable just relaxing on the deck with me now. So we kind of sit and watch the sun go down there when we can, if the weather's suiting or cooperating. But yeah, all in all, it's been a pretty positive turnaround for Mr. Cooper. Oh, El Senor. And I'm sure you can probably tell I'm quite relieved over it. I know I didn't sound very enthused over in my last videos. It was just kind of hard to be upbeat or positive when I guess you got a little bit of other things on your mind. But yeah, I know he would have liked to have been out and gone for a little drive and maybe a little walk on the beach today, but I think that falls into the category of we just need to make better choices. So that's what we're doing. He's home with Mum today, enjoying a little slow-paced day, and after this I'll probably head back home, and I got a little bit of yard work that I want to do. It should be nice, and it's given like 15 to 17 degrees in Annapolis Valley and Bridgetown today, so I'm kind of happy for that. That's not going to be too bad. Might even catch a little bit of a tan, or if not, it'll just be a little bit more comfortable picking up the sticks and doing a little bit of raking. But I got a lot of stuff that I need to do in the yard. I've been putting a lot of it off. In my yard, to be 100% honest with you, it could probably get mowed. So once I do the stick pickup and pick up some of the winter puppy gifts that they've left me over the winter, pick them up and dispose of them, and then it'd probably be time for the first mowing of the season. Won't be able to lay down very good stripes today because the yard's still quite patchy, but where it has started to grow, it's really it's coming in relatively quick. Let's take a little cut down in through the picnic park here. It's always a nice little spot to check out. And if you've been watching right along, different times that I've been over here, the tide has been out quite substantially far, quite substantial compared to, or what would seem to be quite substantial for anybody that's not from around here. But the Bay of Fundy, we're known for the largest tides in the world, so when the tide does get full in another hour, it'll be even further up, closer to the shoulder here. It'll be right up to where some of those driftwood and big logs is. You can see the line going right up the beach there where the big logs and the driftwood's been piled up. So and when the tide is out, it'll be out quite a ways. There could be 50 feet or more of this beach exposed, and it'd be all, this beach here would be all black lava rock. As a kid, we used to just kind of tide pool hop and look for crabs and winkles, and you never really knew what you was going to find down around on the shore. It always kept everything nice and fun and interesting, I'll say that. Seems like the breeze is more out of the east, or kind of feels like it's out of the north when you're coming down off that mountain, but looking at the bay there, it's definitely not more out of the north, it's more out of the east. Almost got a little bit of a southeast direction on it from just kind of looking. We always used that church as a landmark when I was fishing. Used to come right up. Used to fish right in off of here when I was fishing lobster. Used to come up through here like June, late part of June and July. Well, not mostly July, but June. I'd start shifting up into here like May-ish, into anytime mid-May, later into the May. You'd start following some of them up and through. It's crazy to think that a lot of guys don't even have their lobster gear set at this time right now. The water is just so much colder. And then from this turn up across to where we're going, Margaretsville, you can just see in the distance there, that point protruding out in the horizon up there, that's Margaretsville. And along inside that coast there is kind of like a dead man zone. Like, you could set traps there as much as you wanted, but you really didn't catch nothing. There's a power cable that goes from Nova Scotia out across to New Brunswick and down, and I believe it's part of the like the grid that takes the power and goes down to the States and stuff. I could be wrong, but I know that there's a big power cable that goes in that's submerged under the water there, and it leads from that cove out, because you're not allowed to anchor anywhere around that cove, just because of that reason, because they don't want to have to worry about the anchor of a fishing vessel or anything dragging in through that. So it's marked on your charts and stuff, and there's a great big sign in on the banks, on the cliffside, with a great big anchor with a no anchor sign. But yeah, all the way up through there, whether most of us always thought it was because of the kind of the current that came around and off of that power cable, it kind of it just made like a dead zone where nothing really stayed within the vicinity of that power cable. So like, you're pretty much just wasting your time setting lobster traps anywhere's in amongst here from that sharp turn down there in Cottage Cove up here to the lighthouse in Margaretsville. But once you hit Margaretsville, where the point came out, from there on down to the minus basin, it was a whole different ball game of fishing. It was, at times it could be very it would almost make you want to pull your hair out. You know, there couldn't be a whole lot there sometimes, and then when the migration, when they started coming, you knew it, because it was like somebody flicked a light switch or snapped their fingers, and they were there. And now that's kind of how the fishery is now, with the big boats and stuff. The way that it's all changed is a lot of fellers, like with me, when I was fishing, I had a smaller boat, and towards the end of my career, I was one of, I think, 3 or 4 small vessels that were under 45 feet. And the name of the game, like for me to when I would chase from like down Digby way up through to up off Margaretsville and up here, you know, you can make the big jump and do it in a day, like in a couple days. Because honestly, like the travel time getting your boat back down and getting another load of gear and coming back up, like you're talking about a day at a time. Because that's hours on hours doing that voyage up and down. And with what I was fishing at that time, it was like, for me to move my gear, well, I was looking at like 3 or 4 loads. 3 loads if I wanted to push it. If it was like perfectly glass weather. But I learned that sometimes it's just better to take the extra day, or plan ahead and do it a little bit early and get there, because the last thing you want to do is be in a time crunch, have too much gear on the boat, and you got to end up offloading the gear shy of your destination because the weather is not desirable or safe, and then you end up just having to do it all over again the next day in order to make it even remotely worth it. Because, you know, sometimes when Mother Nature forces you to dump your gear, it's not going to be in the best spot. But that was the whole thing of live and let learn. But it also made it where towards the end of the career, it was almost like the juice just wasn't worth the squeeze, really, because what was taking me a week to accomplish, moving some stuff, and it would take other fellers with some of the newer like company vessels and stuff. They could jump where I wanted to go in a day, in an afternoon, and if it wasn't suitable for them, they was to the next hot spot in the very next day. Where for me, if that move didn't pan out for me, that took me 4 days in the making. It took me another 4 days to relocate. So essentially, you know, I could move once, and if it's the right move, it pays off. I'm either on time or 3 to 4 days late. But if I'm wrong and I had to move again, then you're looking at, like, now you're showing up to the ball game a week late. So as that fishery started to progress and I started to have more challenges health-wise, the factors really started to compound for me as to whether the juice was worth the squeeze. And it really became, like, I'm not ashamed to say it, but the fishery was evolving faster than I was going to be able to keep up to it. And my body wasn't allowing me to keep up to the fishery that I was stuck in, so to speak. Like, the ability to progress or advance into something that was going to make it more comfortable for me or viable in the future was slowly kind of getting pulled away from my grasps. So I kind of got forced into trying to make lemonade out of lemons, so to speak. Do I miss it? On some days, yes. How much I miss it, that definitely changes. But I'm glad that I've got the opportunity now to try something different, to enjoy some of the days that I probably wouldn't have had the chance to enjoy from a different perspective if my life had kind of stayed on the same trajectory. I mean, it's just the fact of the matter. I'd have been doing different things right now on today, and I wouldn't be in Margaretsville about to take a walk on the beach and check out a waterfall. Like, I didn't get to do that stuff earlier. So it's a little bit different. Is it a little bit for the better? I tend to think so. I mean, I get up every day and I keep on trucking, so I think that's really all I can do. It's good to see I'm not the only one enjoying the beach. Over there. The tide is still coming, and it just might just be a case of gotta come back at a different time. But for the most part, it should be able to get to it. is we're a half hour from high tide. But for the most part, in and around the coast, like your main flow, your main gain of water has already kind of occurred. So we'll see what we can see. I will say, it's a little bit chilly. But that's because I thought it was smart to wear shorts. So. Definitely misjudged my time. Nice little look-see of Margaretsville though.